Hello everyone. Okay, so here is some of the homework help that was requested by some of the students. So this is all from 1-3. On a zipline course, you are harnessed to a cable that travels through the treetops. You start at platform A and zip to each other platform. How far do you travel from platform B to platform C? All they are asking for here is distance formula. So remember, distance formula is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And the other part we need are the points. This point B is -25, -25, and here it is -15, comma 15. All right, you're probably going to have different points, so just keep that in mind as you work through your example, but the process here is the same. Okay, so if I were to set this up, it's going to look like this. I'm going to have the -15. I have a negative minus a -25, so that becomes a positive 25. That's squared. I'm going to add that to the positive 15 for the y's, and then I'm subtracting a -25, so that becomes a positive 25 squared. All right, I simplify. This leaves me with 10 squared plus 40 squared. This equals 100 plus 1600, and that ends up being the square root of 1700. Now, if I look at the original response here, it says round to the nearest tenth of a meter as needed. When I put this in, I get like 41.24 something. So I'm just going to round that to 41.2, and that would be my answer for something like that. Now remember, your points might be different, but the process would be the same. Let's take a look at the next one. Now, something like this is on your quiz, so that's why I really want to make sure I got you guys this video. So to find the coordinates of the other endpoint of the segment given this midpoint and one endpoint. So what they're saying here is that if I were to draw a line segment, here's my midpoint. One of my endpoints is -13, 16. Now, remember, this might not be 100% accurate, but it's just a visual. So there's -7, 8, and this is the guy we're trying to find. The other thing you need to remember is that the midpoint formula is the midpoint equals x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I have here and I'm going to substitute this in. So if we look, this is our midpoint, so that's going in for M. And this goes in for x1, and this guy goes in for y1. So when I write this out, I get the midpoint, -7, comma 8, equals -13 plus x2 over 2, comma 16 plus y2 over 2. And now I have to split this up, okay, because this, remember, is my x value of the midpoint. This is my x value of the 2 points combined. Here's my y value, here's my y value. So when I split this up, I'm going to have -7 equals -13 plus x sub 2 over 2. And then I'm going to have the y values kind of go together. 16 plus y sub 2 all over 2. And from here we just solve. So I'm going to put in both of those. So I have -14 equals -13 plus x sub 2. That's after multiplying both sides by 2. And I add 13 to both sides. So I'm getting the x value of that second point is -1. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Multiply both sides by 2. This leaves us with 16 equals 16 plus y sub 2. subtract the 16 from each side. That leaves me with the y value of the second point as 0. So my final answer is going to be -1, 0 for that endpoint. So like right here would be -1, 0. Again, remember, this is not accurate. This is just a visual. I have one endpoint, I have a midpoint, so that's why I set it up that way. All right, last one. RS has an endpoint of R at 6, -4, and a length of 17. Which of the following cannot be coordinates of S? Now, you guys are probably going to want like a really quick workaround for this. There is none. Okay, you need to apply the distance formula 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at max 5 times to find which one doesn't work. Okay, there is no quick way of doing this. Okay, so you're going to have to physically substitute in each point. That was kind of the idea because I wanted you guys to really know that distance formula for tomorrow. So, again, just remember the distance formula is x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. I'm only going to do A and we're going to check it out. Okay. And then the rest are up to you. And remember that I just picked what I had on my end from Savvas. You need to apply this to whatever you have on your end. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the square root. Okay, I have my 0.1 and 0.2. I'm going to state that this is 0.2 and everything over here is going to be 0.1. So when I put this together, I'm going to have 6 minus 23 squared plus -4 minus a -4 quantity squared. From here, I'm going to simplify. This becomes positive. So I have a -4 and a 4. That's 0. So that's just kind of gone. But the other side, I have 6 minus 23, which leaves me with a -17 squared. After I square this and then take the square root, I'm going to get 17 back. So therefore, because this does have a length of 17, this is not one of our answers. So I have 4 more choices. And again, all I would do is I would just, kind of erase these little parts and I would put in the next one and the next one and the next one and see what I get for each individual one. There's no shortcut for this one, okay? All right, so I hope that helps. I know I got some questions over the weekend, and I did go through and try to answer those as best I could. Yeah, so this kind of ends these 3 questions. I will be, just note that you only have 1 period to take the quiz. It's only, it's not an insane amount of work or time, but I believe it is a very fair quiz. Make sure you are good with your vocabulary as to what is complementary, supplementary, perpendicular, things like that. Not that I'm going to ask for those formal definitions, but it will be asked for you to use them in your problems. Hope you guys have a great night, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.